Alright, in this video I'm gonna show you how to make a frequency table using Excel. Here's a sample data set that I have generated, and the first column shows the a person's computer type. So the first group here, the subjects from level 1 until 85, they said they do not use computers, and from 86 all the way down to 145 they said they use Windows or PC, and the remaining said they use Macintosh or Mac. These data were generated based on the example in the textbook, and the column B shows the corresponding numbers of these categories. So I used 1 for the non, and 2 for the Windows, and 3 for the Mac, and so on. So based on this example data set, how could we make the frequency table that shows here are these many ones or these many nons, and here are these many twos or these many Windows users, and so on. First of all, I'm going to assume that you know the values, possible values of this variable, and the possible values in this data set is 1, 2, 3. But in the next video, I'm going to show you how to generate this kind of frequency table, assuming that you don't know how many, what kind of values are there in the variable. Okay, so here are the possible values, and in order to generate the frequency table, we'll first we'll use this data analysis ToolPak. In order to set up this data analysis ToolPak or install this ToolPak, you need to go to File and go to Options, and you need to go to Add-ins. So your computer comes with this data analysis ToolPak, but probably it has not been activated. So click this data analysis ToolPak, and importantly, instead of hitting the OK button, you need to first hit the Go button. And there you have this analysis ToolPak, and check that out and hit OK, and that's how you can install this data analysis. So before this procedure, if you click this data ribbon, you may not see this data analysis ToolPak, but after you install it, you can see that. Alright, after you install that, you click this data analysis and you go to the histogram and hit OK. And input range should include the numbers. I could have selected the whole column, but I just kind of manually selected the oh, I missed the first 3, so let me do that one. I can just simply click the column heading, or I can select the first cell and hit the shift key. While I'm holding the shift key, I select the last cell of the column, and that's how you can decide the input range. And then bin range include the bins are the same to the enumerables, and these bins and enumerables should include the possible values or the range of the values that you want to have, based on which you want to generate the frequency table. I'm going to show you another example of the bins that are enumerables rather than this kind of specific values. Sure, I'll show you that shortly. For the output range, I click this button, and then since I typically want to have my output in the same Excel spreadsheet instead of in a new worksheet, I click so the default is new worksheet, but I click this output range, and then click this button and designate the cell, and this will be the upper left corner of the output. And if I hit OK, Excel will generate the bin. Let me move it one cell above. Yeah, so the bins are showing the 1 to 3 that I had to generate before using this function, and the frequencies are showing the frequency of 1s and 2s and 3s. So as you can see, 85 of the subjects said they do not have a computer, and 60 of them had said they use Windows, and 355 said they are using Macintosh. Yeah. Maybe I should have used 2s for the Macintosh and 3s for the Windows to reflect the reality. But it doesn't really matter. This is just a simple example, and I select these cells, and if I hit insert, and if I hit one of these chart types, then it's going to generate the graphs. Let me go to the data tab and redo the process that I just did. If you click this chart output, then and let me redo the analysis. It's going to ask me to whether I want to overlap the outcomes over here, since I already have some things over there, and I'm going to say okay. All right, so if you click the chart output, it's going to generate this kind of a bar graph based on these data set, and you can add pie chart if you want. After you select the data set, if you click the pie chart, then you can generate the pie chart as well. Alright, so this is how you can generate the frequency table and bar graph based on the frequency table, and or a pie chart based on the frequency table. And using this practice tab, let me show you how to create the group the frequency table using Excel. So you first need to generate the bins, and these bins are supposed to show the upper limit of the intervals or the upper limit of the bins. So I currently have 1, 10, 20, 30, and so on, and the raw data goes from 1 all the way down to 65. And I have some same numbers in the data set. So I have 100 rows, and but the data goes up to 65 due to the overlap the data set, like there are multiple 49s and so on, multiple 35s and so on. So when you have a data set and when you want to know how many 1s and 2s are there, if I generate a frequency table using the raw values, then the table will give me very long rows. So for example, let me do something very quickly. Since I know that there are 1s and 2s and 3s and so on, and all the way down to 65, I can generate the bins like this. Then, what I just did is, after I generated 1 to 3, I moved my cursor on this handle. At the lower right corner, I have this dot, and that's the handle with which I can replicate the pattern in this area, and Excel will pick up the pattern from this area, and then will apply the formula or pattern to the remaining cells. So I can just left click on over there and then drag all the way down. And as you can see, since the data had been generated by incrementing the numbers by 1, it's going to apply the kind of formula or function or the pattern to the remaining cells by increasing the numbers by 1. So I went down until I have my maximum value of 65, and I can generate the frequency table using these values, data analysis and histogram. Okay, the input data range is here, and the bin range goes from here to 65, and let me have the output next to my bin, and if I hit OK, it's gonna give me the frequency table of these values. But as you can see, this table is quite long, and probably it's gonna be more efficient if the table shows just these many bins or intervals, where each bin or interval includes the values from 1 to 10, and in the second interval the values go from 11 to 20, and the third row shows the values, frequency of the values that go from 21 to 30, and so on. So let me delete this. So using this upper limit of the bins, you can generate the grouped frequency table very easily. So you still use the histogram, hit OK, and the input range is here, column A or A1 down to A100, and my bin range goes from here to there, and output range, I'm gonna have my output here, and I click the chart output so that I can have the bar graph. Alright, so although the bin says just 10, 20, 30, and so on, this bin actually includes the values from 1 to 10 and 1 to 10. Sorry, 1 tilde 10. Okay, and this bin includes 21 tilde 11 to 20, and this one 21 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 50, and 51 to 60. So note that these numbers that we used to generate this table and the graph are showing the upper limit of the bins. So this 10 means the upper limit of this first bin, and this 20 means the upper limit of this the next bin. And we can see how many values are the frequency of these of the values in each bin. And you can generate the bar graph or any other types of graph using insert. And let me first select the target data range, and then if I click this pie chart, I can generate the pie chart based on this group frequency table. Alright, that's all I have for this Excel practice.